First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Pijigo and Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay respect to the elders, past, present, and emerging. So here we are again, end of the year, our Summer Sojourn group exhibition with most of our artists, plus others. And it's a good time to celebrate. It's been a busy year, so one thing that we did manage to do this year that we've been talking about is to have the gallery at Nuisance Point operating, so that's fantastic. Unfortunately, my good friends and business partner, Lina Leposicot and the daughter, Isabel, they are over in Japan at the moment, so they won't be back until the middle of December. But we're looking forward to having more exhibitions over there, and obviously here as well, so there'll be 2 galleries, so lots of opportunities for artists to show in both spaces. Today, we have most of our artists showing here. Generally, we have the abstract work on this side, the figurative and landscape on the other side, with some still life over there, photography on one side here, and some of our indigenous artists, contemporary indigenous artists work over that side. So, to open the exhibition is somebody that I've been working with and supporting at the Australian National Maritime Museum. Daryl Karp, she's the director of the museum, and since she started a few years ago, it's been fantastic. Like, there's so many great programs there. As part of the Sydney Festival, there's actually a couple of exhibitions. One of them is to do with James Cameron, and in fact, he's going to be having a talk at the museum. So I believe that there's still some tickets available. They're really going very fast, so if you want to go, you've got to get online and book it. But they also have a very good exhibition on Ocean Photographer of the Year. I highly recommend it. Some of those photos are absolutely fantastic. But Daryl has been doing quite a lot of different things. So the Maritime Museum is not just about maritime. Obviously, that's a major focus, but also at the same time, they are very much focused on the migration story. So I think the next couple of years, they are actually going to have this boat from Vietnam, which came as a refugee boat in 1977, the Trudeau. And the federal government have decided that they want that to be permanently displayed at the Maritime Museum. So it will be a major event coming up. So we sort of connecting with the Vietnamese community locally to support it and so on. So you'll hear a lot more about it later. But Daryl's very supportive of the arts as well, and she's obviously very experienced in this field. So I'd like you all to welcome Daryl Karp.
Thank you, Simon. And I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we are meeting today. Simon, as Simon said, I'm certainly not an artist, but I have been allied with the arts industries. I was at the ABC, I headed up factual programs, which included, the arts program. I then went and ran Film Australia, and again, there were a lot of really fabulous art programs there. More recently, in the museum sector, we really are bringing the cultural and the artistic expression of art in all of its forms within the museum, because I think the big thing, as Simon said, Island Nation Shaped by Sea is the narrative that we're doing, and we want people to really value and appreciate the joy and the beauty of this island nation. Forget wide brown land, stick to Island Nation. Hello, and thank you so much for welcoming me. It's pretty extraordinary to be standing here around all of this impressive artwork. It's amazing, and I have to say I've only got halfway through, so I look forward to going through the rest of it in a little while. But I thought I'd begin with 3 key statistics that are shaping my thinking on art and museums. Because like any good museum person, we love data and we love research. The big one for me, my favourite one, is museums, libraries and galleries are among the most trusted institutions globally. 89% of people in 2021 trusted libraries and museums to provide accurate information, which is a remarkable statistic at a time of decline in trust in almost all public institutions. In 2024, the Edelman Trust Barometer, which is a survey that tracks trust in society, it's been going for about 30 years. It looks at 4 key quadrants: government, media, business, and NGOs. And they've just been tracking this wonderful, well, not wonderful is probably not the right word, this alarming decline in all areas. And in Australia, there are no surprises. They found that, and they actually do 32,000 interviews. And they talked, across 26 countries. Australia gets a very deep dive as part of all of this. And unsurprisingly, they're finding that our social fabric is weakening. Our politics is increasingly polarised. Government is distrusted as our news sources. But the really big shock for me was actually that whilst scientists are the most trusted purveyors of information and evidence-based, technical and science-based information, we trusted our friends as much for that sort of information. So you're now starting to see the influence of, people don't know who to trust, so let's talk to people like me. And at the same time, another piece of research, attention and focus is absolutely dropping. Last week I came across a piece of research that showed that our ability to focus has dropped from 2 minutes to 45 seconds, and our attention span has dropped from 45 seconds to 8 seconds. We are being constantly distracted by pings, by messages, by notifications, by emails and phones. And because at this time of the year I have the attention span of a gnat, I went to that fabulous ChatGPT and Claude and asked an open-ended question, because when you're talking to ChatGPT and Claude, you have to ask open-ended questions. And the question I asked was, in a fast-paced world, why does art even matter? And there were some fabulous answers, all of which would ring a bell and resonate with us, that art is a mirror and a lens through which we reflect and view ourselves and the world, that it shapes values and influences our identity, that it's a catalyst for dialogue, a space for healing and resilience, and visionary for the future. It helps us to imagine possible futures. And my favourite, it pushes boundaries for connection. Now, Hugh Mackay has written his recent book, The Way We Are, and this is what he laments. This is his big theme into this latest book, which we are in the midst of an epidemic of loneliness. He explores this with his thesis that we are herd animals, that we come together, to share experiences, and that the huge disruptors that are working against us, shrinking households, single-parent families, falling birth rates, increasing mobility, rising individualism, and the really big one for me, the IT revolution, is really having an impact. And his key message is, and there's a reason for all of this thing, because I do actually end up back at art. His key message is that connection, a like, an emoji, a sharing of a video clip, is not communication. And it is that communication, that transferring, of information. He says transferring of information is not the same as the sharing of meaning. And eye contact can't be replaced by Zoom meetings. And then the other little bit of research that I came across, I'm sorry to throw all this data, but this one I really liked, although I have to say, I haven't read the original research. I'm simply going with what was in the paper. They said, real art can't be replaced by replicas. A recent research project in the Netherlands found that the brain responds differently to the real thing compared to a high-quality replica, with up to 10 times more attention and positive engagement for the real thing, which actually I think is a great, great message for all of us. Because in our fast-paced digital world, we, art and museums, we offer that vital counterbalance to this IT tsunami that's coming towards us. In a world that's speeding up, our world can slow people down. We can get them to engage, to consider different perspectives, to put themselves at the heart of the experience, and from a museum perspective, to give them voice. we encourage our visitors to slow down, whether it's a centuries-old painting, a photograph, or interacting with a modern installation. Visitors are invited to pause and be present, and in the rush of this current life, I think there's immense value in that moment of stillness, of contemplation, and of inspiration. Art shapes our society by reflecting, challenging, and connecting, and museums such as the Maritime Museum and more, amplify this impact by safeguarding art and by creating spaces where we can, together, foster understanding and dialogue. So it is my great pleasure and privilege to declare this exhibition open.
Thank you, Daryl, for a very insightful talk on art. We'll do our usual thing. At the end of the our exhibition opening, I ask all the artists to come up here and have a group photo taken together with Daryl. Yeah, so all the participating artists, please come up. Yeah,